So, hey guys, it's Heather, and I am filming part 2. Can they see me? I can't tell if I'm in the frame.
A little bit lower.
Me in the frame? How about now?
You gotta go lower.
I have to like sit lower? Okay, hey guys, it's Heather, and I'm doing part 2 of the PewDiePie wedding painting. And I have done a little bit of detail on the faces of the bride and groom, just because it was kind of a slow process, and I was trying to not keep you guys like drug through some of the details of that. I actually would like to show you how I did that. It was really cool. So maybe in a minute I'll pull it up on my computer of how I did some edits. But I'm gonna go ahead and start painting in the crowd, the right and the left side of the composition here. And hopefully today is the final part, but we'll see how far I get. So let's get started. All right, I'm just setting up my camera here. Sorry, it'll just take me a second.
I can do that.
Okay, great. Yeah, that is needed to change. Okay. So I'm gonna start painting I do need to paint PewDiePie's hand while I have his skin tones all mixed up. So I will paint his hand really fast, and then I'll move into working on the right side and left side of the background composition. Let's see. So I still have my colors mixed up from the other day. My paint is starting to dry out, which I'm not surprised. This is like day 3 or day 4 of having these same colors mixed. I am really impressed that it's lasted this long, and hopefully this is the finishing pieces of skin tone for these two guys. I'm going to make skin tone for the crowd and use different ones, but since I started with these, I have to finish with these, and so I was just hoping that I can make them last long enough. So right now I'm just going in and painting in the shadows of his skin on his fingers. And then I will go in and do some highlights. And for those who haven't seen part 1, this is actually the second day that I'm painting live on this piece. So I painted on, I don't know, 2 days ago, and it's the same title, and it just says part 1. And I painted background all the way up to the part where I'm at right now live. It was like a 5-hour video, and man, that was a lot of details. Sometimes I'll sit and I'll paint that long in the studio, but to like not get up and like take a break and stretch, and I mean, like, I'll get up and move around, so that was a little atypical. I don't usually go so long without, you know, taking a little break. So that was a little bit of a marathon for me. But I am refreshed and I am ready to knock this out. Like I was saying earlier, I actually tried a new technique for critiquing my painting of like holding up a photograph of the original next to the painting, and it was actually really cool. My husband Jonathan is the one that came up with the idea. I used a photograph and I uploaded it into Photoshop, and then I made 2 layers of the photos, and I lined them up and put them on top of each other, and then I could turn a layer on and off, and I could see how close I was getting to where the facial features were and if the shading was off in any spots. So that was actually really helpful, and that way I could get it as precise and close to reality as I could, because I did want this to be more of like a realistic portrait, just because I wanted this to actually look like them. So it's like hours of doing these tiny little micro changes, like this slight. I mean, this is how tiny my brush is today. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is tiny. And when you work that small, it's so slow, and I didn't want to completely bore you guys, so I was just doing some of that stuff on my own. I didn't want to work in any new areas. I was just going back into just their faces and just refining. But it was slow. Hours and hours of just slow detail work. Hey Jonathan, do you think you can get my computer over here turned on to YouTube in case anybody makes a comment? I can see it. Thank you. Actually, I don't even see that much of this finger. So, somebody had a comment in my last video about posting my video to PewDiePie's Reddit, which was actually a really good idea. And I hope to do that with this one.
You can't.
Oh, I can't post it?
Still blocked.
What does it mean it's blocked?
Anti-spam. You have to have an old account.
Oh, like we'll never be able to do it?
No, just at some point you have to be active on Reddit, and you have not then.
Oh, gotcha. So I have to wait a while?
You have to like actually do Reddit.
Well, I don't know how to do Reddit. Okay.
Okay, here's your
Thank you. Great. I just wanted to have that set up.
charge it. The charger's back there, I think.
Sorry guys, I was almost all put together and then I forgot to plug that in. Alright, I have enough of his hand painted that I think it's fine. I'm going to just go ahead and start moving into some of these details on the background. So I wanted the people in the background to be on the blurry side. I did not want them to look as high of refined details as the bride and the groom are, because they're the guest and they're not the most important part of the subject. So I was going to keep them more blurry, more impressionistic, and in the background. So I'm mixing up some more flesh tones here. I like to start with colors that are very similar to flesh tones, and then I can actually adjust them. Remember how I was talking about not really wanting to use a lot of tube colors? So same thing with this. These still aren't exactly right, even though these are more Caucasian flesh tone colors. I still manipulate them, but this is a good base. This is a good start. And I'm going to have enough that I can paint in the guest and not run out. But everybody is different shades. I can just tell this by looking at the crowd. But I will go ahead and start working my way around, building up each portrait. So behind PewDiePie over here, there is, let's see if I can scoot this over so I can see a little bit more. There is a guy that's right behind him, and I actually think I'm going to eliminate him just so that PewDiePie's head stands out by itself. I know he's in the picture. I see this man. He's probably an important friend. But I'm just going to start with this woman and work my way over. And I don't want it to be too detailed anyway, so you probably won't even be able to tell who these people are. But you can see a suggestion of who they are. Just don't want it to be too much detail. So I'm going to start with my light, and I'm going to add some white to it. And you know what's really cool is your complementary colors are the ones that are across the color wheel from each other. And when you're mixing orange, like these are like peaches, and it's like in the orange family. If you add just a touch of blue, which is the color opposite of the color wheel from orange, you start getting more of, it's a bit too much, you start getting more of your more muted colors. So it takes it from being like a bright to more of a dull, and that's good for creating some shadows in the skin. Takes away some of this brightness of this orange. This would be good for shading. And then also want the warmth, so I want to have some of this red in it to give people kind of that sun-kissed glow. And then I need some yellow for more of that highlighted look. And some brown to make them look shadowed. So I've got like my light, medium, and dark over here, which I think that's looking pretty good. My skin tones. Maybe a little bit more red in one. So another little swatch. Some warmth. And I'm keeping my palette wet by spraying it down. That's so important when I'm working with acrylics. I'm really tempted to do some portraits with oils. I've done a little bit of work with oils. It's a totally different medium. It doesn't dry very fast, so you may have to wait weeks or maybe even months for your paint to dry. And I'm just so used to kind of the instant results of painting really quickly and moving on. Okay, so I've kind of got like a variation going light to medium to dark with this palette. That would show me a good contrast in skin tones. And I'm going to do some blending. Let's see, I'm going to start with, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a screenshot. Because right now the photograph is full size, and when I zoom in, I can't zoom in any more than, I don't know, maybe 4 times or something like that. So I'm actually going to take a screenshot and then work from the screenshot, because I can zoom in even more, and then I can actually like see these people a little bit better. So I'm going to start with like a medium kind of skin tone, and then I will work my way around. I'm going to start with this girl here, and I'm just making the shape of her face. And I'm making this pretty loose. Remember, I wanted this to be more impressionistic and painterly. When I say painterly, meaning like you actually see my brush marks and it's not blended very much. And I want to see like some streaks. I'm working on her eyes. I'm putting this in very, very basic right now. Get some more red for this cheekbone. Sounds like they're doing the yard today, so you may hear the mower. And I probably should go ahead and mix up some hair color as well. You know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and start working on another skin while that dries a little bit. I want it to dry just a tiny bit, just so I can go back in and do a little bit of blending once it's like kind of set just a tiny bit. So I'm working on the faces right now, just the next faces, and then I'll go back and do, I guess I'll do the hair. I don't know, I'm just kind of working my way around different places. Strong shadow under her neck here, so I'm putting that in. Decided to go, oh, that was a lot of paint. I decided to go ahead and mix up some hair. Maybe I can work different spots at a time. And if you didn't tune in the other day, this is PewDiePie. He is the YouTuber that has just reached 100 million subscribers. He's the second account that has ever done that. And he actually just got married. I guess it's not even been a week now. Or maybe it's just now been a week. Or maybe it's this weekend is a week. So he's just gotten married. And I thought it'd be a really fun way to celebrate him getting married. And that's actually what I do for a living, is doing wedding portraits. I usually go on site and paint on location, but I was not invited to the wedding, so I couldn't go and paint live. But that's usually what I do. Like, I will set up an easel, and I will take a blank canvas to a wedding, and I will paint live. So when my husband told me that PewDiePie got married, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to paint his wedding. And then he showed me how beautiful his photographs were, and I just fell in love with this one. There was another one that I was debating between, but this one was just incredible. And so I started this one the other day on a live. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube under my account. You can go check it out. Anyway, I painted about 5 hours a couple of days ago, and now I'm hopefully going to paint a couple of hours today probably. I'm just painting in these people in the background. And then I did a little bit on my own the other day because I was really refining some of these details, and it was just such slow work. I didn't want to make everybody just totally bored. So right now I'm working on this girl's hair, and she's got beautiful like dimension and curl. So I am showing that dark mixed with that blonde and trying to build up these dimensions that she's got. But I am going to make this still very suggestive, and it's not going to be a whole lot of defined brushwork. It's going to be a lot more loose and more impressionistic. And if you guys have any comments or questions, you're more than welcome to ask, and I would love to answer. I was saying in my first video that I actually have my degree in art, and I've been painting. I started painting when I was in high school, and I had a teacher that was incredibly supportive and let me kind of take my own direction, which really built up my love and passion for painting. You know, it was my first canvas that I ever got to stretch. Like, a stretched canvas is like cotton fabric that's wrapped around stretcher bars, and then you like prime it. That's what makes it white, and then you can paint on it, and that's it's like a surface that's ready to go for like an acrylic painting. Well, she let me stretch my own canvas and do a self-portrait, which was just the coolest thing, and it made me fall in love with painting. And that was when I was in high school. And I have been loving painting since. So I'm kind of like moving around to different parts of the portrait. Sorry, just whatever I think really whatever color I pick up on my brush, then I'm like, okay, where am I going to put it? Because I'm just kind of dipping randomly. And they were blowing bubbles as they were walking down the aisle, or this area. So that's what everybody's hands are up for, because they are blowing bubbles. cute. I just saw that the other day for the first time at a wedding, and it was actually a really cute idea. It was a little tricky to get everybody blowing their bubbles at the right time, and I think it had a little bit of a glitch just making it work. Like getting the bubbles in the air before they walked down the aisle was a little tricky, but it was a really cute idea. And I actually was painting that one, and so one of the perks was I knew there were supposed to be bubbles in the air, so I just went ahead and added them because the photographs probably didn't capture it that way, because it took everybody kind of a minute to get their bubbles going. But it was super cute. I hadn't seen it before. I go to weddings so often now, it's like I'm kind of learning what the trends are as they're happening. It's really fun to be in such a positive place. People being so happy and so dressed up, and beautiful music and yummy food. It's really a happy job to be doing. I feel very blessed. Okay, now this guy is coming out more towards us, and he is going to be larger because he's getting closer to the viewer. The farther back you go, then the people become smaller just because of perspective. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I am, I see that I've got a few people joining. I am doing a live painting of PewDiePie. He is a YouTuber and he has just gotten married, and I actually am a live wedding painter. Since I don't know PewDiePie and I wasn't invited, I just decided to paint his wedding from the studio and just use his photograph that he just posted. So I painted the parts over here on my last video, and it's part 1 and this is part 2. So hopefully today I will finish. We'll see how it goes. The other day I painted for 5 hours. It was a long video, but I had so much fun just working with you guys and hanging out. It was great. So today I'm back and I am working on the crowd, painting the crowd in, and I want them to be more in the distance and not in focus as much. So I want them to be more painterly and more impressionistic looking. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of like refined details on their face. So they will look more like a Monet kind of look. But thanks for joining. And I really should be slowing down as I'm doing this because this is getting a little bit more detail right here. Every time I clean my brush like this, It reminds me of Bob Ross because he was a big tapper. But it's like you don't even know you're doing it. It's just kind of like a habit, and then I'm like, oops, I'm banging on my brushes. No, he really did beat his, like, he even made jokes about it. He's like, beat the tar out of him. Funny guy. One year for Halloween, my husband and I were Bob Ross. He was Bob Ross, and he wore this awesome wig that we got on Amazon, and I was the happy tree, and I had to dress up like a tree. But I wanted to be a cute tree, so I had to do that kind of tastefully. That was fun. It's a little harder for me to talk and paint these details of the face. It's just a little bit more challenging. So excuse me if I'm being silent. I'm like super focused. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I am actually painting a wedding painting of PewDiePie, who is a YouTube account, and he is he is one of the accounts that has reached 100 million followers. Well, he just got married last week, and I thought it'd be cool to paint his wedding. I actually do this for a profession, so I thought, since I don't know him, I just thought, oh hey, I'll just paint this and we'll see if I can ever get it to him. I would love to send this to him, or I'd love for him to see it if there's any way. That'd be really cool. So if anybody has any ideas how to get this to him, I just found out since I just started my Reddit account that I have to be active on it in order for Reddit allowing me to actually, I guess, like post something or send it to PewDiePie. So I have to hopefully figure that part out. But I would love to give this to him. So if anybody has any ideas or connections, let me know. Leave it in the comments. So I am painting the guest, and I'm wanting it to be, this guy's coat has got a touch of blue in it. I'm wanting it to be more impressionistic and not too realistic in the background, because these guys are just guests. They're not the main part of the focus. So I am leaving the couple as the main emphasis. And I will let the guest be more of just kind of blurry in the background, more impressionistic. And I am actually a painter. This is what I do for a profession. And I have my degree in art, and I taught for a little bit. And then I was like, yeah, I'm ready to do my own thing. So I've been doing lots of commissions for the last 7 years or so. Mostly just commissions. I'll do a little bit of my own work, but most of the stuff I do now is based on like people asking me to do a very specific project for them. And I focus a lot on, for the longest time I did pet portraits. And then I started doing live wedding painting. This is actually my first year doing the live wedding paintings. I just did my first one in April of 2018, and then I fell in love with it. And so this year I've been doing this pretty full time, and I have had so much fun with it. I didn't know how people would take to it in Knoxville, and if that would be a big thing around here. But they have loved it, and it's been really cool to go on site and paint weddings. It's just a really positive thing to do. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I am Heather, and I am painting a wedding painting of PewDiePie, who is a YouTuber who has just gotten married, and so I thought it'd be cool if I painted his wedding portrait. And it was a really cool painting. I'm sorry, a really cool photograph that he posted on his account. So I thought, well, I will just paint him and his new wife. And this is part 2. I did another painting a couple days ago. And this one is hopefully going to be the last part, and hopefully I will finish today. I'm just working on the guests that are in the background here, and I'm working off of a photograph that PewDiePie had posted on his Twitter. And sorry if it's hard for me to talk because I'm focusing in on like these facial details. And they are actually blowing bubbles. Everybody's got bubbles that they're blowing. So that's why everybody's hands are up.
Could I grab your laptop for a sec?
Yeah. You need my laptop?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
What'd you hand it to?
You go. Let's see. And it looks like from the pictures that I've seen online, it was a fairly small ceremony, and then like this crowd is a whole lot more than what I saw in the ceremony. They had this picture that had an arbor and I don't know, maybe 10 guests and just a handful of chairs. So I think he must have had like a really intimate ceremony with just maybe closest family and friends. And then it looks like maybe he had a larger reception because this is quite a bit of people that are here in this picture. But man, if you had 100 million subscribers, I couldn't imagine how many people would want to come to your wedding or see your wedding or be a part of it. So he's probably trying to do it really privately.
Okay, here you go.
Okay.
I added my chat in there for you.
I see it. How can I get the video back up?
It doesn't fit. But it has the chat.
So, since I just started my Reddit account, I actually have, there's like limitations. I guess it's like a safety feature, or maybe not safety feature, but it's just part of their rules that I can't share my live stream on PewDiePie's page. So if any of my viewers do have Reddit and they were wanting to connect this piece to PewDiePie, that'd be awesome. You could actually go to his Reddit, and you could share it on his account, which it won't let me do that because I just opened my account the other day, so it's got some limitations on my end. But if anybody is watching and knows who he is and maybe follows him, just a thought. It could be cool. But thank you for joining, guys. I really appreciate this. This is cool. We've got some followers who are watching. if y'all have any questions as you're watching, I'd love to answer them. Sometimes it's hard for me to think of things to say because I'm so focused on painting that it's hard to think and paint at the same time. But I am just working my way around into some of these facial features. And remember, I'm going to be doing this very like blurry. I don't want these to be high detail. I want them to be in the background. They're not supposed to be the main focus of the painting. So I'm making them more of a just a little suggestive figure in the background. And remember, this is a part 2 of this video. I did another part a couple days ago. And it was me painting the everything. Like, I've just started this part right now. So it's all this other part to the right that I painted the other day. And you can find it on my page, on my account. It's just the Livestream PewDiePie wedding painting, part 1. And I hope to finish this today. I actually have a conference call at a certain time today. And so I've got that kind of in my mind of like, okay, I can do this. I can paint this quickly. You know, I'm actually really good at staying on task of like, okay, I'm going to give myself this many hours to do this piece. Or and I have to do that because when I'm painting these live weddings, I mean, these weddings last, 4, 5, 6 hours, and I have to have it at a certain place, like at a finishing point, and because I do about 90% on site, so I have to be really good at time management, or I will get like sucked into the details. And I can do like refining stuff back in the studio back at home because I don't give them the painting on site. Some artists do. I don't. I actually take it back to the studio and I'll finish it. But I have to just stay on task. And it is hard when people come up and they ask questions, and then I enjoy conversation, and so I can get kind of wrapped up in whatever we're talking about. And then I have to like try to catch up from like the time of being off topic or off task for a little bit. But I really enjoy painting live, and it has been a total joy of like just getting to be a part of people's special day and their wedding, and I feel really blessed that people have me. We've got a wedding coming up this next weekend. I'm actually really excited about it. It's going to be here, local, and I've been told it's like a really steep hill because it's up in the Smoky Mountains, and you have to take like 4-wheel drive to get up there I'm a little nervous about it. I mean, I have 4-wheel drive, but it's just still like intimidating to be on like people have a really hard time getting up the hill, and then it's a one way. So if you get stuck, like somebody's coming up when so if somebody's coming down when you're coming up, somebody has to reverse and has to like back out. And I think the etiquette is the person driving up the mountain has to back down the mountain and reverse, which I don't know if I could do that, especially at night when, you know, it's all dark outside. This could be really hard. But anyway, this view is incredible, and it is like a 360 view of the Smoky Mountains when you get up there. And they have worked really hard to make this venue. It's so unique and so special. And I have been wanting to paint there for months. This is a new venue. They just opened, so I have been wanting to paint there for a really long time. And I almost painted there for free. I was just gonna straight up gift a bride a painting, and then my husband's like, I have a feeling if you hang on, you'll get a painting, and somebody will hire you. And then I did. I got it just a few months later, and I am so excited to go up there and paint because it is so beautiful. It's called the Magnolia Venue in Pigeon Forge. Actually, I think it's Sevierville.
You have comments on both your screens, so forget it.
I don't know how to find them. Hannah! Hi! This is one of my old students. Do your live wedding portraits include collage elements like the pet portraits, or does the time constraint not allow for that? You're exactly right. It does not allow for that. So what Hannah's talking about is my pet portraits that I do are they're collages. They're handmade papers that I will cut to be like the shapes of the dog's facial features, and then I'll do mixed media on top with painting on top. But I do not do that with the live wedding stuff because I don't have my materials. Like, I haven't got it set up to where I could let's see his hands. I can't take those materials on site and do all the cutting. It just requires me to sit down and really focus on the shapes that I'm seeing. And when I'm doing this live, I just don't have the time for that, and it's just not something that I can do like on the go. So my paintings for the live weddings are actually just acrylic canvas or acrylic paint on canvas, and if somebody ordered a collage based off of a photograph like this, I could have done this, like this painting I'm doing right now. I could have made this collage, but I could not do that on site. It would just be really difficult to make that technique. It's just a really difficult technique to do. But that's so cool, Hannah. I'm so glad you're watching. I'm so glad you just commented. I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. I actually just saw your mom the other day, and it was really good to see her. And she was saying you were doing well. Okay, so you can start seeing that I've done the people in this very far, and then it kind of becomes, and I may just simplify it. There's this guy's hands that are in this foreground, and it's kind of bigger. Oh, thank you. Your live stream is really nice to watch while I'm working. Yay! Keep watching, because it's going to be here a while. How do I make my colors? So I, years ago, took a class, well, my college professor, and it was on color theory, and it was like the first few weeks of school, and she made us do these, and actually, Hannah, I made you guys do this when I was your teacher. She made us do these color swatches that was literally weeks and weeks of just mixing. And we weren't actually just even painting yet. It was just like, okay, you're going to spend hours just wasting your paint, which I thought I was wasting my paint. Of like, okay, you're going to be mixing each color that you have in your palette with like red plus blue plus white, red, more red than blue than white, more blue than red than white. And I had to like change all the ratios. Anyway, it went to 9 different colors mixed together. I mean, we had swatches out the galore. I mean, it was just like crazy. But it was so cool because I learned color theory that way. And I had this little notebook full of all of my color swatches that I could reference for the rest of my time in that class. And then I got used to it, so I didn't have to use it as much. But I could reference that. I'm like, okay, if it was like a recipe book. If I wanted to make this color of red or this shade of red, what would I need to do to make that? And I could look at that, and it would kind of be like a little recipe book of like, okay, you mixed your complementary color here, and you did this color there. I mean, so it was the coolest project, and it was definitely not a waste of paint. It was definitely not a waste of color or like time. It was awesome. And I still have it. I don't think I'll ever get rid of that project or those pages of that notebook just because it was so huge for me to learn that. I learned that was just so beneficial for me. That was it's like one of those things that you think when you know what you need. Like, I'm the student and I need to tell the teacher how to teach me, like, this is a waste of my time, don't make me do something like that. That's definitely my perspective, what I thought at the time. And then after I went through the project, I was like, that changed my life. I will never paint the same. I was so confident that she was wasting my time. She wasn't. She was definitely not wasting my time. It was one of my favorite projects that I had from that professor. And man, I will forever be thankful for her, like, teaching us that. That was really cool. I wish I had that little notebook and I could just show you guys really quick, but I think that is far away in some box. I don't know where. And all these guys are blowing little bubbles. I was just talking about that a minute ago, so that's why everybody's hands are up. And I want to try to make those. I'll do those bubbles after everybody's outfits start to dry because I gotta layer that. That is why everybody's hands are pointed upwards. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Just had a few more people jump on, and I am actually painting a wedding portrait. There is a YouTube account. His name is PewDiePie. He's kind of well known. Actually, he's very well known. And he has just gotten married, and he has a YouTube account. Oh, have more people. Hi guys, it's Heather, and I am doing a live wedding painting. I was just telling everybody, this guy is PewDiePie, and he has 100 million YouTube subscribers. Like, I can't even imagine. I think I have 5,000. I could not even imagine what 100 million would feel like. I'm excited to get like 2 comments. I'm like, yay! He probably gets like 100 comments a second. Like, it's probably insane. But anyway, he's just gotten married, and I am actually a professional wedding painter. So I go on site and I paint. Hi, Nick. Thank you. No, not Nick. Yes, Nick. I think that's how you say it. I just wanted to get on and paint his wedding because his photographs that he just posted are beautiful. It's really beautiful. And then he looks handsome and his wife looks gorgeous. So I just thought this is just a cool thing. Since he just broke 100 million subscribers, I thought that was also worth celebrating. So it was just a really big week for him to get married, break 100 million on YouTube, and then also he his account is where you like play video games online and people watch, and then he like has commentary about it. And I'm saying it wrong. There's actually like a name for this, and I'm not. I'm sorry, PewDiePie. My husband is the one who's taught me about you. But anyway, I know who you are, and I watched a couple of your videos, but I don't know I've forgotten what your classification is of your account. Play watch or something like that. Anyway, it's just really cool. I wanted to celebrate with him. And hey, if anybody has any way of like posting this video on his Reddit, that'd be awesome. I just uploaded my account. I just created an account the other day. So it's making me, it won't let me actually post my live stream. So if anybody does have Reddit, you could just go to PewDiePie's page and you could share it. That way he can actually see his painting. I would actually really love to give this to him. It's just like ship it to him for free and just give it to him as a gift. I think that'd be really cool. So if anybody has an account and you want to send this over to him, go right ahead. I have another question. Have I always been interested? We got posted on Reddit? Oh, I just got a message that says that we've been posted on Reddit. Okay, guys, yay. Maybe PewDiePie will check this out. He's on his honeymoon right now. I don't know if I would want to be doing work while I was on my honeymoon. That would not be a very, I don't know. I don't know if that would be a very good thing to do, be working while you're on your honeymoon. But if he does see it, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Have I always been interested in art? That was one of my questions that just came in. I've got this, I've got 2 different screens pulled up here, so I've got some questions coming in, and I'm just reading them as they are coming in. So, yes. Well, I guess it's kind of no. When I didn't really get interested in art until I was a sophomore in high school. My parents took a video of me when I was a kid, my first day of kindergarten, and I was asked what I wanted to do in kindergarten for my first day of school, and I said that I wanted to paint a picture for my older sister. So apparently I did want to go to school and paint, but I don't remember really liking art. I don't remember really liking art until I was a sophomore in high school, and it was my teacher in high school that let me do a self-portrait. Your husband says you're 10 out of 10 pretty. Okay, my husband is online, and he is making comments to me, and he's telling me he thinks I'm pretty, and that is really sweet. I have a very amazing husband, and I am very in love with him. So thank you. So my teacher in high school actually let me do a self-portrait, and it was not a traditional self-portrait. It was a portrait of me working on a truck with my feet sticking out from the bottom of the truck, and it literally had just like boots, like that's all you saw of like a person. And she let me get away with it. My teacher said it was fine. And she was like, yep, that's different. It's not what the assignment was, but it is fine. You can do that. And if she had not done that, I mean, it could have taken me years, I don't know, longer to fall in love with art like I did, because who knows if I ever would have, but it was really cool. Nick says, if you post a picture too, it's more likely he'll notice it. If I post a picture of it finished, is that what you mean? Sorry, I'm asking a clarifying question just so I am not a tech savvy person. Like, guys, I'm in my 30s. I'll be 36 next week. I feel like it's happened. Technology is not my thing. And if I wasn't married to my husband, who actually is a tech person, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I do well to manage my website. Okay. He often features fan art drawing his Reddit videos. I have seen some of that, and he has like a video, or he has a page that you can post it to. I just can't do it because I just created my Reddit, and it, I guess, is a feature that they won't let me post until I've been on there for a while. So I guess I just have to be more active before it will let me actually do something. But I love this idea. and so much more now that he's married to Marcia. I bet he's gonna get so much art. That would be. I actually saw some of his stuff. I looked it up the other day. Let's see, I've got another comment. I was able to post it through your account. Oh, good. So they let me. Okay, so Jonathan's in the other room and he is. He's messaging me. He's keeping me up to date that it has now been posted onto my Reddit account. Okay, PewDiePie, get online on your honeymoon and watch me paint you because that's what you should be doing right now. Nothing else on a honeymoon is important as painting a picture of you. Promise. I'm not. I'm being silly right now. Enjoy your honeymoon, and you can see this later. I know that I'm being silly. Okay, so I'm just painting in this guy's coat, and I feel like I gotta trim it up a little bit. But you know what? I'm gonna leave it for right now, and I'll paint it in later. But man, this is such a beautiful photo. I just fell in love with it. There's some times where I'm painting and people give me photos that are really hard to be inspired by, and I find myself like struggling through it. This is the opposite of that. I'm not saying this is a hard painting at all. I mean, it is technical, but this is actually a beautiful piece, and I am so inspired that I just woke up. I was like, yep, I'm painting PewDiePie's wedding because that was a beautiful photograph. And that is, when the artist is inspired, then it's like, gosh, then I feel like I can just like flow through these things, and I don't feel the struggles of like being inspired, which is always you want to feel inspired as you're doing your work. Let's see, I got another. We will post a photo of the finished art when it's done. Yes, that is what husband just said. We will be posting a finished piece when this is done. And I'll get good lighting and I'll make it all lined up. Because right now you guys are seeing it from an angle, and that's not the easiest perspective. So when I get this all finished. And right here at their feet, there's going to be something really fun that is anybody who's watching a Minecraft? Because that's what PewDiePie is known for. He is a Minecraft game player. If you are, and you do play Minecraft, there's going to be something down here that I'm about to paint in just a minute. And hopefully you will recognize what it is. My husband is the one that came up with this idea. He had a lot of ideas with this. So he's kind of the brains behind this piece and thinking up these ideas. Let's see. Only recently, that's true. He used to hate Minecraft. PewDiePie used to hate Minecraft? Is that what you're saying? I didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I know that he plays Minecraft, and there is something that a part of Minecraft that is going to be like a joke in here. Well, I guess it's not a joke, but it made my husband laugh. So we'll see if you guys can recognize it, and if you've played the game, and if you know this part of it. So we will see. But I'm about to paint it in. And Jonathan was really excited when he came up with this idea. He was like, this is going to be a lot of fun. He's so cute. Okay. There was actually an episode, and I actually just watched it the other day because Jonathan pulled it up so I could see what this little treat down here that I'm about to do, what it actually meant. But if you were going to give a couple, a newlywed couple, a gift for prosperity, what would you give them? Can anybody take a guess? What would it be? For maybe having children, what would you need to have children on Minecraft? Oh, you know what? I don't have my photo in here. I'll just have to do this from memory. What I'm about to paint, I'm just going to paint from memory of what they look like. So, it'll be easy enough. It's just a simple shape. Very simple, simple, simple. And I have to make sure there's a certain amount of these because it actually matters, I think, is what I've been told. Let's see, can y'all see this okay? Yeah. This is the best wedding gift ever. Yeah, I really actually want to give this to him. I would love to send this to him. I will pay shipping. I will get this to you. You can even give me like a fake address, and so I don't know where you live. I really, PewDiePie, I would really love to get this to you guys. And y'all can have this painting for sure. No, the potatoes are the best. Oh, I thought you meant the wedding present. Yeah, what I'm painting in right now is actually potatoes. In Minecraft, if you throw 12 potatoes, well, I don't know if you have to throw it, but that is what happened in the episode that I saw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I gotta make sure there's 12, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think one more. No. 2 more. If you throw potatoes at somebody, I think it makes them have babies. So that is what I'm doing. I am putting in the potatoes. I really want him to look pixelized. I don't know if I'm going to spend the time to give it the pixelizations because I wanted it to look even more like the Minecraft. I'm going to clean up my brush and make this a little bit more detailed. Yes, potatoes are their wedding gift for prosperity. And that's the little Minecraft. 12 potatoes. Yep, I'm going to have a dozen potatoes. You got it. I'm putting in their little cast shadow right now, so it kind of looks like they're nestled in here. I'm not a Minecraft game player, so I don't know how this works. If you have to, already has 14 likes on Reddit. Guys, my photos or my video has 14 likes on Reddit. That's amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited. I would love for PewDiePie to see this. This is his painting that I'm doing as a wedding gift to him. But who knows if he'll get it? But if Reddit gets me there and we can get this to him, that'd be awesome. But this is, I'm a live wedding painter, and since I wasn't invited to his wedding, which he should have invited me, because then I would have come and painted this on site for all of his guests. It would have been fun, and I'm sure that I would have also really enjoyed traveling to Europe. But anyway, I could have painted this on site for him, but that is what I do. I am a live wedding painter, and I paint their favorite moment. They get to pick it. Let's see, how many potatoes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I need one more potato. I think I'll do it. Piled up here. Guys, this says that we already have 14 likes on Reddit. That's a good sign. Maybe PewDiePie will get this video and he will see his wedding painting and he can have it. I will send this to you, PewDiePie. It's yours for free. I'll just mail it to you. Okay, so 12 potatoes for prosperity. Let's put in a little bucket. A happy little bucket. Just a happy, happy little bucket. Let's see. The bucket that we had found online was actually this kind of like burgundy color. So I'm gonna get some paint out here. Let's see how we're doing here. We've got different questions. Yeah, I like that color. I'm gonna use this like, what is this? Burnt orange for this bucket. Maybe a little brown. I'm so excited that you got to post it to Reddit. Thank you, Jonathan. It's awesome. Now, what does that mean? Tell me tell me the basics of how that even works. I know that it's like a thread that people can like follow. But it's a good sign that it posted? Did you not think it would post that quickly? Anyway, yay. I'm excited. Let's see. I'm trying to put some highlights on it. So this idea of the potatoes was my husband, which I think is really a cute idea. Because PewDiePie plays Minecraft on YouTube. And he was like, well, what if you did something that is like a little hidden game joke that he could get. And there's an episode where he's got, tell me the potato stories. What do you call the people on Minecraft? Do they have like a certain, are they zombies? I mean, what are they? I don't even know. I'm like not your person to tell you how to play Minecraft. But anyway, he put him in this room and he built him this little chamber and he started throwing carrots at him. He started throwing, I don't remember what else he threw at him. But then he got the idea to throw some potatoes. He must have looked it up online or something. And then they had babies. So that is where this little joke is coming from. That maybe they will have prosperity and this is their wedding gift, that they have potatoes. But I'm not throwing them at them. They're just happy little potatoes in the bottom corner here. They're just minding their own business. They can have them if they want them. They can pick them up if they want to. I won't throw them at them. Let's see. Somebody's typing something. Yes. Send me a message. Tell me. Oh, we've got new people watching. Thanks, guys. So I'm Heather, and I am a painter, and I am actually doing a painting of PewDiePie's wedding. He just got married. Oh, you just eat. Wait. I'm not saying what to do. Just let the potatoes do what they do. Just eat the potatoes. They have to eat them? Oh, that's what PewDiePie said in the video. Okay, you're being funny over there. I get ya. Anyway, PewDiePie is a YouTube account. He actually just... Ooh, I just got water on the canvas. He actually just broke the record his own record for having 100 million followers on YouTube, which is freaking insane. And I wanted to celebrate that with him, but he also got married this last week, and his photos were amazing. So I thought, hey, I'll just do celebration for that, getting married, and then also he beat Minecraft this last week, and he broke 100 million followers on YouTube, which is just like crazy. What a week. Couldn't imagine. And I've got this posted to Reddit right now. If anybody else wants to post it, I would love to get this to PewDiePie. And apparently he actually features some of the art that is made on his website or on his YouTube account. So if you want to post it, I would love it to give it to him. We can see if we can get this in front of his attention, and you can have this painting, PewDiePie. I'll send this to you. It is yours. Let's see. Oh, he just broke another record. It says that he just broke 2 million on his Reddit account. Was that just this week? That's insane. I can't imagine. That is just insane. That's awesome. Way to go. Way to go. Alright, there it is. I think I'm done with this right side. As I keep painting. I just wanted it to look like it's blurring in and out here. I don't really know where it starts and stops. Let's see. Yes, he did just break 2 million this week. My goodness, what a week in the life of PewDiePie to break 100 million YouTube subscribers, break 2 million on your Reddit, and then let's see. Now, PewDiePie, eat your potatoes. That's what somebody just told me to say to you. Eat your potatoes. Have babies. Y'all have really cute babies. You're really a cute couple. Jonathan, you're cracking me up over there. Okay. Anyway, what a week. I can't believe it. I think I will use another brush. Let's see. I'm just doing a little bit of touch up here just because some of that got kind of covered up. And there is another surprise that will happen on the other side of the canvas, about in the same placement. And you'll see it in a little bit. It'll be a little special guest appearance from somebody two somebodies very fuzzy and sweet. Now, what is fuzzy and sweet? Oh, I need to put in the, oh, hi, let's see. Yes, Nick, you got it. It's going to be Edgar and Maya. Okay. Well, they're not in the original picture because I've actually been told that the venue would not allow them to have their dogs in the, on the property. So, you know, me being a pet portrait artist, I'll just paint them in. Like, that's one of the cool things about like wedding paintings or just painting these moments for these brides and grooms is that I can paint in these moments that did not happen. Like, these dogs are not at the wedding, but I can make them there. And so it's just, you know, customizing people's their memories. I mean, they said they wanted their pets there, but the venue said that they couldn't. How could you tell PewDiePie no? Seriously, what kind of damage could a dog do? I mean, yes, they can do a dog. But if you have 100 million YouTube subscribers, I think you have plenty of money to buy a new little piece of carpet or whatever these little dogs could have done, like pee-peeing on the floor, whatever. Like, how can you say no to somebody about this? Okay, I'm going to just pause here and I'll go to the other side. I'll do these things later because this is such tiny little detail. Okay, I was going to start painting in the bubbles, but I think I will go ahead and paint in the other side of the canvas. Okay, so on the other side is some more people, and let's actually check to see if you guys can see everything okay. I'm gonna scoot some of this so that it's that part. Yeah, I do need to paint that part. My husband is watching the video and he is helping me remember these things that I did not paint the edge of my canvas. So what I'm doing right now is actually wrapping the paint around the side of the canvas so that this is considered gallery wrapped, gallery ready, and you don't have to frame it. It saves you money, which is good, but it's also considered professional finished on the side when you like wrap the picture around the back, like so it's just wrapped around the edge of the canvas. Thank you, Jonathan. Let's see. I just forgot one little part. But I do think I want to move over to the other side. Okay. Okay, great. I am going to shift this down just so I can have this lined up a little bit better in front of me so I'm not painting sideways here, too much of an angle. And let's see if you guys can still see okay. Can y'all see all right? Let's see if I do that and then maybe you can see. Yeah. Looks great. Thank you. All right, let's go for it. Now, like what I did earlier where I zoomed in, let's see, this guy and then this girl and then here. So to about right here is my crop. And I'm going to take a picture, a screenshot of it. And then that way I can zoom in even more. Alright, so. I haven't said this in a minute. I am actually painting the background. I'm painting the people to be more impressionistic, more blurry, more of like a Van Gogh or kind of like a Monet, so that they are not the focus. I want it to be PewDiePie and his wife to be, looks fine to me. Thanks, Nick. I want it to be they're the focus, everything else is kind of blurry. And I think I'm going to do a little bit more blurring in the background with the trees, but I definitely want these people to be like suggestive, just barely, you can barely notice their facial features that are more subtle. Okay, so I am going to start with the left, person on the left here. I'm going to turn this just a bit more. Got a little bit of a glare. Okay. And I've actually been painting since 2000. Well, really seriously. Oh, we got a question. You can't see the potatoes. Do you want me to scoot it back so you can see the potatoes and this? I can. There we go. Looks good. So I've been painting since 2000, really seriously, and I taught for a while. I thought I wanted to be a high school teacher forever, and I only made it 5 years. Actually, I did 2 years, and then I was like, I think I'm ready to quit. And then I went back and I did 3 more after I bought that. But it was definitely hard with teaching something that you love so much and it being a class that was mandatory and that not everybody took very seriously. I had some students like Hannah, who was commenting with us earlier, who were incredible and they made it awesome. And then I had some students that just had to be in there because that was one of the requirements. It really was hard to be teaching a subject that corresponded with, this is supposed to be an easy A, I can come in here and goof off. I was young. I was really, really young when I started teaching, and so it was just really hard to have classroom management. And I don't think I really was prepared for all that. So teaching was challenging. I mean, like, actually teaching you like how to paint, like, that was the easy part. The part of, like, you know, doing the classroom management stuff was what was so hard. I really struggled with that. Just because I was young and I didn't really have a whole lot of experience, and then to be authoritative, like, you do what I say because I said so kind of thing, that was hard for me. So I did that for a while, and then I started doing pet portraits. And my business with that is Collage a Pet, and that has been something I've been doing for the last 7 years. And I actually had the opportunity to go and be a vendor at the Westminster Dog Show, which was really, really cool. And so I was painting these incredibly famous and very well-known dogs that were in the competitive show industry. It was just awesome. Absolutely awesome. And then this last year, I decided to start doing live wedding paintings because I wasn't invited to go to PewDiePie's wedding, which is totally fine. I decided that, and I also do this too, like, I can paint from your photograph, but I've been doing this year and it has been so much fun. I've just enjoyed going on site, painting the canvas from start to finish, and you know, hanging out with happy people who are dressed beautifully, and then painting such a happy subject. I mean, painting dogs' eyeballs all day and painting weddings is like 2 very, very happy things. And so I just feel very blessed that this is what I get to call my job. And it's great. And I would love to actually give this to them. So if anybody has any ideas on how to get this to PewDiePie, we've got it posted to Reddit. I've heard that we are now on Reddit, so that's good. How are we doing with our views on Reddit? Or how does that, likes? Did you say likes or views? Jonathan, how are we doing? Is that changed number? Give an update. Anyway. So I want them to be kind of blurry, so I'm painting them in and painting them out. It's like I'm painting some of the brush strokes and then I'm like painting some of it back out. So that it stays more of like an impressionist. And this little girl has a hat on. Put her hat in here. A cute little hat. She's got this green bow. 15 upvotes. Good, yay! Just got an update that my Reddit, it has 15 upvotes. That's not 2 million, like PewDiePie getting 2 million subscribers on there. But we're getting there. Hopefully he'll see it. I'd love to give it to him. PewDiePie, you can have this. I would love to gift this to you as a wedding gift. It can be all yours. Let's see. And everybody is actually blowing bubbles. That is what everybody has their hands up for. Which I was saying earlier, that's actually a really hard thing to pull off when you are, you have a certain amount of time to walk down the aisle. And in order to get your bubbles in the air and get the photo, it's actually really challenging. I did another wedding just a little bit ago, a couple months ago. And I got to paint it in because I knew where the bubbles were, and I took a couple of photos after the bride and groom had already walked down the aisle, and I could still see the bubbles in the air. But it's actually a really challenging photo. So they did a pretty good job. I mean, they did a really good job, actually. Maybe they did more than one take. Who knows? But it's really challenging to get the bubbles going down the aisle. But I see them. I'll have to paint them later. What are the best colors? It's an interesting question. I guess my opinion of some of the best colors would be colors that are not straight out of the tube. So mixing colors that are more interesting and have like whites added to them to lighten them up, and darks. I don't really like a lot of colors that are straight out of the tube. I love greens and yellows together. I don't really know why, but like yellows, greens, and oranges side by side, and those are some of my favorite colors to use. It also reminds me a lot of nature, and I think I love to paint nature a lot. So that may be just partial. Okay, I'm gonna give this guy a suit. He's got a gray suit. I'm going to get some more white. And it's got a touch of blue in it, not just gray. Arm pull up. Let's see, what is the hardest thing to paint? Well, faces. And then this whole thing is full of faces. This is actually a really challenging painting. This is challenging to do this live because to do something that's already hard, like faces, and then to do it with an audience is intimidating. It's hard to get the faces right. And if you think about it, I mean, we know our faces better than, we know our loved ones, we know our faces better than anyone, and we can tell if somebody looks like themselves or not. So we're very strong critics to knowing people's faces. And if I get off by the tiniest little detail, like a micro millimeter, you can tell. And it's really challenging to get it all correct. So there's a lot of stress into painting portraits. It's not something that I've done a whole lot of. I always did more of an abstract portrait when I was going through school, and if anybody ever told me, this is why my 10th grade teacher told me to do a self-portrait, and I ended up painting a truck. I'm like, no, because people are hard. I just have always shied away from it. And then in the last couple of years, I've started to get more serious of like, I actually do really want to learn to do it better. So I'm just refining it and practicing it as much as I can. It is a harder thing to paint for sure. I think it always will be. It's just people are so different and their face is so specific. But I mean, everybody, we look very similar. I mean, we all have, you know, eyes, nose, mouth, and all that. Like, I don't know how we are so unique, and to do such subtleness of a facial feature changing for us to look unique. It's just really hard. Really hard. Okay. So I'm painting this guy's suit, and I want to have some highlights in it and some shadows. So I've got some different shades of blue that I'm mixing here, and I've even got a little brown mixed in it just so it's got some warmth to that, so it's not just all blue and white together. It's got a little bit of brown mixed in with it. And I'm going to add some highlights so that it's got some life to it. It's got some bright spots. I'm going to paint in the white, and then I'm going to blend it out with my brush with the light, some darker blue in it. So it's just going to blur those two colors together. And the more times I go over it, the more it's going to blend away. So I can kind of control that. I'm also going to do some shading right here with some darker color. And then I'll do that same thing where I'll like blend it back in by going over it. The more times I go over my brush marks, the more it will blend away. Let's see. Spray down my paint so that nothing dries out. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. I am doing a live wedding painting on YouTube of PewDiePie, who is a YouTuber. This is his wedding, and he just got married this last week, and I just thought it was a beautiful piece, so I thought I would come on here live and paint it. I actually do this for a profession. This is what I do, is I paint weddings, but I usually go on site, so since I was not invited, I will just paint it from my studio. And I'm trying to get this to him, so hopefully, wish me luck, that PewDiePie actually sees this little video and that he wants it. Let's see. Good thing that you simplified the faces in the background, right? Because one, people are hard to paint, but also you all get tired of sitting and watching me paint all day. Those little micro kind of changes, they take a long time, so I wouldn't want to bore y'all too much. And thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It's nice to have an audience that's engaging. It's really cool. Very cool, actually. Let's see. Oh yes, this is my first YouTube. I have never done a YouTube live. You know, years ago I did some videos, like some little videos of crafty things, of different projects. And over those years I got a handful of followers. I think there's like 5,000 of you guys, which I really think is cool. You all follow. Thank you. But you know, over the years I didn't really do anything with it. And I didn't know how to engage with it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to paint for you guys. I'm going to paint live for you too. I painted live the other day for the first time on my Instagram, but I did something really short and sweet. Like I just did some clouds and that was it. But this is actually like the entire painting is real time. And I will record myself painting, which I'm even doing that today on another device. But I have never painted it in real time. Okay, gotta figure out this dress here. It's right here. And she's wearing this like striped dress that is. Can you see her outfit in the picture? I'm gonna tone this down with some gray. Switch brushes too. Let's see. Yeah, so this is my first YouTube live. Sorry if it's a little long, or maybe I'm having a hard time staying on focus to talk and all that. Maybe I'll get better the more I do it. Well, I know I'll get better, but hopefully this is entertaining enough. Trying to think of all the things to say. Thanks for joining. Thank you. And I wanted these guys to be very impressionistic in the background, more of like a Monet kind of painting. And keeping the bride and the groom the focal and not competing with them. Let's see, I've got a question here. It says, will you do more live streams in the future? Sure, do you guys want me to? If so, what would you like me to paint? I mean, I go to these weddings and I could even do live stream, actual live wedding paintings too. And I've even thought about teaching some lessons on here of how I paint and just making it more of like a tutorial. And that's what my degree is, teaching. So actually teaching brush marks and all that would actually be a lot of fun for me, I think. I'd really enjoy it. But yeah, would you like to see more live stream videos? If so, what would you like to see? It's really cool. If you would. Maybe at the end. If they've had any changes at the end, let them know. Yeah, that was a good thought, Jonathan. So, how about at the end of the video, y'all leave me some comments of some ideas that I can do, if it's different live streaming ideas or techniques, or just how I could have done this better or different. I'd love y'all's feedback. Because this is my first one. This is all just trial and error. I mean, I did a little bit the other day, but this is it. Like, this is my first one for sure. I would love your all's feedback. You know, when I was growing up, feedback was actually really hard for me to get. The idea of somebody critiquing my art, I think I felt really defensive over it. And I felt like, no, I'm the artist. I say what goes. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. I was defensive. And then I kind of like calmed down about it. And I was realizing how incredible critique could be. Constructive critique. I mean, don't just be tearing somebody apart and expect them to like love it, because it doesn't work that way. But if somebody actually has like something really constructive to say, of like, okay, here's an example. Today I was online and somebody has done a project that they used the color orange on some fabric. Like, they painted acrylic paint on fabric, and they did this really cool like, it's fall, y'all, kind of like crafty art kind of stuff. And I knew that if she had done like a white base underneath her orange, then it actually would have shown up and not been streaky and transparent. So I sent her a little message, and I said, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I have an idea here. And I gave her a little bit of like technique idea, like, if you had painted the base white, your letter, and then you go over it with the color that you want, because orange is transparent, it was shown up really well, and she responded really well to it. She's like, that's a great idea because this is 3 layers thick. So that would be like constructive criticism. I just didn't get on there and then tell her she did it wrong. I got on there and I gave her like, here's what I'd like to see. Or I actually knew how to help her with her paint because that's my career is painting. But if y'all have ideas, let's see what. Oh, that's even cooler too. So I'm asking for constructive criticism. Y'all could even say, what if you like tweaked this, like change that dress to be a little bit, wider or something, like actually gave me thoughts on the painting if I could even do something different with this actual piece, not just like my experience of doing the YouTube stuff, but like critique the painting. And it's really cool. Jonathan, my husband, he really wasn't used to that at first. And when I would ask him things of like, because I will ask for critique a lot. My family is all artists, and I will text them pictures of my clients' pieces, and I'll say, before I send this out to them, give me your thoughts. What's your feedback? And it was harder for Jonathan to do it at first, but he's actually become one of my favorite critiquers because he's gotten really good at it. I think it's something that you can definitely learn. I love that. That's a great idea. Help shape the painting. Yeah. So we're getting to like the tail end here. I mean, I have a feeling we're going to be finished probably definitely within the hour. How we're doing? So it's 3:30. Because I've only got like this little itty bitty piece, but down here is going to be our little surprise guest. It will be the pugs, Edgar and Maya. But we're moving along. This is going faster than it was the other day. But I'm also painting more impressionistic, which is easier. Definitely easier. Let's see. Get some of this turquoise here. But I would love your all's feedback if you have any. Like I was saying, when I was in high school, when I was younger, it was just so hard to hear. And I don't know why it was. I guess maybe I thought what I was doing couldn't be replicated, so if I got the first draft out, like, that's as good as it's gonna get, so don't ask me to change anything. I'm not really sure what was the big fear, but I was just really afraid to get critique. I just didn't think that I could do it any better, I guess. And then, I've been painting for so many years now that I actually really love when I get critique. And I really love getting critique before my client sees it, because honestly, my client has a harder time giving critique and then not freaking out. And just like, they're just so emotional about their pieces because they want their piece to look perfect. So it's just better if I have it all ready for them, and they can have critique too, and I'll still take feedback from them. Let's see, pug stories. Someone's asked to pug story. What's so funny is that pugs are so much like each other. Like their breed, they are really so much. They're so much alike each other. So when I watch, how I relax is I go on Instagram and I watch videos of pugs. It's just so happy, like they're just so sweet. And I love how they're all like so much alike. Like they're all snorty. They all are really like nasty breathers. Well, not all of them. They can be really nasty breathers, but that they just have like this like real innocence to them, and they're so sweet. And I love that. They're just adorable breeds. And let's see. I had a pug, and he had his own Instagram account, and he was so funny because I could just take videos of him all the time, and he would entertain me. But then he had a lot of followers. He was actually really sweet, and he was worthy of being watched because he was like a little clown. He was just always getting into something. He would eat random things around the studio and just always getting into trouble. But he was so cute that I didn't really get after him. It was more like, hey, you stop that. But I had like a smile and laugh on my face because I was still like totally thinking he was precious. I think I need a smaller brush. Let's see. Hey guys, thanks for joining. So I've just gotten a few people joining. I'm actually painting a portrait of PewDiePie and his new wife. They just got married this last week, and I'm actually a wedding painter, and I decided to paint his wedding from his photograph that he posted online. But usually what I do is I go and I paint on site at weddings, and I paint like live as it's happening. But since I wasn't invited, I just decided I would paint from his photograph, which is beautiful. He posted this on Twitter, and I think he actually posted it on his Instagram as well. And I was like, okay, that is the painting that I'm going to do. I was so inspired by it. I was just ready to jump right in. It's just beautiful. And this wedding, must have been just like totally gorgeous. Her ring, guys, if you go to her Instagram page, she's got a close-up of it. Actually, she had it in her story yesterday, and it is gorgeous. They did like a little video after their, I guess it was after their engagement, of how he got the ring and how he gave it to her and how he proposed and all this. And there was a part that he was talking about how he wanted it to be like the perfect ring. And it is gorgeous. I'm really partial about my ring. I don't think anybody has a cooler, more beautiful ring than I do. But my husband, he did so well. He really hooked me up. It's so beautiful. But when I saw hers, I was like, all right, okay. That comes second, but I'm always like, nope, that's never coming close to my ring. But I really loved her ring. She has a beautiful, beautiful set. Let's see, I've been asked for more pug stories. Okay, so one day in the studio, my pug, Raisin, he had climbed up, well, he didn't really climb up on the table, but he like put his paws up on the table of the studio table, and he pulled off this. He pulled off the actual pallet. Like he drug this down into the floor, and he kept like reaching up, so like knocked it down into the floor, and he stepped all over the center of the pallet. So he got paint all into like the his feet, and it went everywhere. Everywhere he stepped, it got on the floor, it got on the couch. He jumped up on a vintage couch that I had, and this is a vintage couch that I inherited from my grandmother, who got it from her great aunt. So I mean, this thing is like over 100 years old. And then my freaking dog puts red paint all over it, and it was so funny. It was red paint, so when I pulled up his hand, I knew it was him because I caught him red-handed. Literally red-handed. His paw was painted red. It was so funny, and he had the dopiest look on his face, like, what? What'd I do? Like, why are you upset? Like, he just totally clueless. And that was really bad because I couldn't get the paint out of the couch. Never did. I just flipped the cushion. That is not okay. That is not how my grandmother would have cleaned it. First off, she wouldn't have had a dog. She would have been like, this is not a piece of furniture that dogs or children should be near. She actually kept it in a room in her house that we didn't really play in. So she didn't let us kids around it either. But it was always a beautiful couch. I loved it. And I still have it. It's in my studio now. It's just got red paint on the back side of a cushion. So, that's that. And another time, let's see, oh my gosh, she was always getting into something. I used to have a seat lift chair. My parents have a medical supply store. And if you know what a seat lift chair, I don't know if anybody even knows what that is. Those are like the chairs that not only recline you back like a lazy boy, but they actually like put you in a standing position. So it's a mobility assistance thing. So it helps you like get out of your chair if you have like bad hips or if like, you can't stand up on your own very easily. And anyway, he got on the chair and he like sat on the recliner. It's got like this handheld electronic keypad that you can make it go up and down. He like sat on it, and so I look into the studio, and I'm in the studio, and I look into the den, and he's like going up in the air by himself, like on his own, and he was just hanging out in the ceiling, like he was just like way up in the air. It was so funny, and he had this look on his face, like he was so confused, like what's happened? How did I get up here? So when I found out that these guys, my pug is like Maya. Well, actually, let's see, which one's which? Yeah, mine's Maya. So mine is that same colors that she is. And I didn't have a dark pug, but they're just as sweet. So when I saw that they had pugs, I was like, oh my gosh, we are pug lovers for sure. Let's see. Oh, my husband, he said, I have to make sure that the viewers know that my seat lift chair is not as good as his chair. Because okay, so PewDiePie has this video, and you'll have to go find it, where he sells like gaming chairs, and it's supposed to be this really far recline. It's almost like a layback position, and he has these videos that have gone viral of him being like, yeah, but did your chair do this? And he just like completely disappears out of the view. And no, my seat lift chair did not do that, and my chair was not as cool as that. So yes, PewDiePie's chair is better than that. But that's really funny. Of all the stories I could have told, the chair one. That's funny. Let's see. How are we doing on Reddit? Have we got any more up likes? Can you tell? I'm just gonna look it up. Spanish moss. Oh, okay. So they're another pug story. I'll keep you guys entertained by telling y'all about my dog. I had this tree. It's a fake tree. It's now in my studio here. And Raisin got into it one time. But what he was doing was like pulling off the decorative Spanish moss, because it's a fake tree. And it had like this Spanish moss that was on the base of the tree. And he would get in there and he would pull it out and he would drag it all over the room. And I knew what he was doing because it would stick to his face like Velcro. Like his little flat face would stick to everything. Whatever he got into, like I knew what he was doing. Let's see. Really sad they didn't let them be at the wedding. I know, Nick. He was saying he's really sad that they didn't let the pugs be at the wedding. I agree. That's why I'm going to paint them in right here. I'm going to have both Maya and Edgar right here, right at the base of their feet. And their little potatoes. Okay. So Raisin would eat my Spanish moss and I would get after him. It was the most adorable thing ever because, of course, I never really got after him. And he was always just cracking me up with all his little things. I had another pug before him. His name was Bubba. He's in some of my other videos. Y'all can see from my crafty things I used to make. Actually, I have a dog. Like, it's like how to make a dog bed using like an old fleece and all that. It has like crazy amount of views. It's really cool. Thanks for all the views, guys. But he's in that video. That's Bubba. And when he had this thing about eating cat litter. It was so disgusting. He would eat cat litter like on a daily basis. My cat that's in the video, that's the cat that he would eat the cat litter of. Anyway, it was so gross, and I would catch them because, again, their faces were like Velcro, and cat litter would stick to his face, like in his muzzle, and he would look at me with this dopey look of like, I'm innocent, I didn't do anything. I'm like, you have cat litter stuck to your face. You totally are in trouble. I wonder what kind of stories PewDiePie would have about his dogs. I wonder if they have anything. I'm sure they could. They should have an Instagram account. Does PewDiePie have an Instagram account for his dogs? It is so popular right now to have accounts for pets. That's all I do is follow Instagram pets. And then wedding stuff. Anyway, he should totally have it. And I would totally follow it. Okay. I am put in some arms here. She's got some arms. Let's see. Hey guys, thanks for joining. If you've just joined, I am actually doing a wedding painting of a famous YouTube account who's just gotten married this last week. His name is PewDiePie, and he has like 100 million subscribers, literally 100 million. He just did this. He just broke that record this last week, and he just got married. And so I thought, since I am a wedding painter, I would paint his wedding. So I found this this photograph online, and I fell in love with it. And I thought it would be beautiful to paint. And I'd love to give it to him. So we are trying to post this on his Reddit. And hopefully get some uploads. I've got like 16, 15 uploads right now. Up likes. Call it the right thing, Heather. And hopefully PewDiePie sees it. I'm actually painting the background right now, and I want these people to be more impressionistic and not very detailed. So they are going to be more like very simple brush marks. More impressionistic, kind of like a Monet. Oh goodness, this lady looks creepy with that face like that. I gotta fix her. Let's see. Upvotes. I don't call it the right thing. Yeah, I know. My husband has to keep me in line over there, telling me what these technological terms are. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Jonathan. How many do we have right now? Are we getting any more traction? Let's hope so. Let's see. Yep, he's typing. We'll find out in a minute. Let's see. Oh, for anybody who plays Minecraft or has ever heard of it, should Felix and Marcia eat their potatoes? Does anybody know what those potatoes do? If you were listening a few minutes ago, you may have heard me talk about it. But does anybody know what those potatoes in the bottom left corner mean? It is a Minecraft joke. I have never played. I've only watched PewDiePie play, and that's all I know about it. Don't really know any special thing. You know, the other day I did watch, and it did make me laugh. It was another YouTuber who does the same thing of like where they play the game with the commentary. But he caught dolphins and he put them in a pool, and I laughed really hard at that because I don't think the game was supposed to go that way. And it was like glitching and like they were just like disappearing. I don't know if they really were disappearing or if it was like they really escaped or the game just like glitched on them. I don't know, but it was so funny. I was laughing very hard. Let's see what John says. He's typing. Wait a second. And I want all these to look very impressionistic, so I'm leaving the brush marks very loose. And like an impression, like a Monet. Let's give this guy some hair. Get some more brown. Let's see. Teach more about the painting. So I am doing the painting of Felix and Marcia's wedding. They just got married this last weekend, and they're actually on their honeymoon right now. So I saw this picture online, and I thought it was gorgeous. I thought compositionally it was beautiful, like this negative space that's behind them. Their body position and how they're interacting, this delicateness of how he's holding her hand. Just even like their positioning, like him looking this way and her looking down. This is very interesting. So I thought this would make a really great painting. I worked on her face a lot. I really wanted to capture her expression looking down. I wanted to pick out like her strongest facial features and like make sure that I got those correct. And some of the other things I could be a little bit more carefree on, of like how her hair is styled, because her hair could be styled some different ways and it'll still look like her. But if I don't get her facial features right, then it's not gonna look like her. Same thing with PewDiePie. I really wanted to, like, these two parts of the painting are the most important parts. Everything else I feel like could be just suggestive and I could get away with it. But if I don't have their faces right, then it's like that could be anybody, and it doesn't really matter. It's like it doesn't matter if it ever looked like them or not. Like it wouldn't even make a difference. So I really wanted it to be my focal point. Everything else to be kind of blurry. I wanted the trees, this building over here, all this in the sky, just to kind of look like dashes of colors, very painterly, where you see the brush marks and then I don't like erase it. It's very fresh, and keeping it unblended. I wanted it to stay really painterly. And I painted this on a 16 by 20 for a couple of reasons. One, I knew how I hope to give this to them. I really hope to send this to them. And I have shipped paintings internationally before, and it's really expensive. And just didn't want it to get damaged. And the larger my box is, then it's just harder on the canvas. Just has more room to get damaged. So I thought, well, I'm going to paint this this size so that it's not too hard to ship to them. But then also, this is all really easy to reach. Nothing out of this canvas is too much of like a strain on my shoulder or my arm. Like everything is really comfortable. Like it's not larger than life. I mean, there's some paintings that I've done that, I just did one the other day that was 4 foot by 6 foot. Literally couldn't fit it in my car, couldn't fit it in my studio, had to paint outside in the den, in the dining room area. And it was really hard. It was really challenging, and it really hurt my shoulder a lot. Like lifting up your arm that much and stretching like that is just really hard on the body, and it's just really fatiguing. So I picked this size for that reason, and then I wanted it to be blurry, these guys to be blurry on the sides, so that it's like they're there, but they're not like the most important part of the painting. And I wanted the emphasis to be on the bride and the groom, so I've made them more impressionist. And I want it to be like, I really love lighting, so I'm always like trying to push my highlights and my shadows so that they capture the glow of whatever the sun was doing. I think this was a great piece for that too. They had just really great lighting in the original photograph. And right now what I'm doing is painting the edge of the canvas, which is really important. That way they don't have to frame it. It saves them money. And then the picture is like wrapped around the edge. So the side of the canvas actually has paint on it. Whatever the face of the canvas is, I just wrap it around the side. And that's what I'm doing right now, just wrapping this around. Okay, I am about to start painting these dogs. So let's see, I do need to paint this lady's legs in really quick. I'm going to do it with a smaller brush. Let's see, I gotta keep it wet. With acrylics, they dry so fast. Acrylics can dry within minutes, so I want to make sure that I'm always using my spray bottle, because these colors that I have mixed up, like skin tones, if they dry up on me, then I have to mix them again, and that's hard. So I always have my little spray bottle with me, and I'm spritzing these little palette sheets. These are really great. They're like these sheets of wax paper, and I can very easily keep them wet because they're not absorbent. If I just spray little spritzes of water on it, then it keeps my paint fresh. That is what I am working on. Let's see, this lady has white little shoes on, so I'll give her some little white shoes. It's gonna be hard to see her feet because the dogs are actually right at her feet, and so some of this is gonna kind of be covered up. Okay, I am ready to start painting these dogs. I do need to pull up the image really quick of them on my computer. Sorry, I feel like I'm ready to move on, and then I'm like, wait, I need to do something else. It's like a layered dress. I just wanted to make it look layered. And if anybody has any questions, I'd love to ask questions. I'd love y'all to ask questions and be interactive. I'd love to hear from you and see what y'all think and feel. Oh, let's get this little lady's feet in. I'm like gathering scoops of paint like this. This is just an accident waiting to happen. I shouldn't do that. alright though. We made these tables in my studio. My husband and I made them. And when we made them, he was like, just try to keep it clean. I'm like, I can't keep things clean. So there's paint all over the top. These are like beautiful pieces of wood, and we stained them and everything. And they're covered in paint now. Just my little area. His area is always clean. But that's just what happens when you're painting. I actually do a really good job. I mean, look how clean my hands are. And this isn't even paint. That is actually because I went to Sephora today and I tested an eyeliner. So that's not even paint. That's not bad. I'm keeping clean. Let's see. I'm going to put in... Alright, we'll do this later. I need to paint these little dogs. Okay. So I'm going to switch my picture to, this is the best picture that I could find online of the two together. Now I can always like take two separate photos and superimpose them together. So because most of the times our dogs don't want to sit side by side in a photograph. So I'm going to take this. It's fine. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to superimpose them. I've already sketched them down here in the bottom right corner. But I'm going to reference this one. And this came from, I think it was Instagram. I actually can't remember where this picture came from. But it's one of the photos that they posted on their account. So I'm going to put this over here. Can you see everything? Yeah. There you go. Let's see. So this is the part where I should feel the most comfortable because this is what I have spent so much of my life doing, are pet portraits. Well, we'll see. I'm so used to doing my pet portraits with paper. Oh, look. I was just bragging. I touched the edge of my canvas. I was just bragging how I hadn't made a mess, and then I make a mess. I'm actually going to lift my canvas up. That way, I'm not like trying to paint too close to the table and it's really uncomfortable. So I've lifted this up so it's a little easier to be higher up, and my wrist won't be like strained as hard as much. So I am going to... This is a whole lot easier to reach than if I was down here like bending my wrist in a weird way. This is a whole lot more comfortable. Your body position when you're painting is actually really important to have good posture, and your chair not to be too low or too high. So that I'm actually really, after all these years of painting, I've had a lot of shoulder pain, and this is how I can kind of help with that, is just having my chair in a good placement and being in a good comfortable spot. Let's see. Let me think if I can think of some more stories of Raisin Bran. Well, first off, how I named him was because all of my pets growing up were named after food. So we had, did y'all ever have a Checkers? Checkers is like a fast food restaurant. And we had it in town for a while, and then they were gone. And I actually went to Florida and I saw them years ago, and I was like, oh, they're still around. But I had a cat named Checkers, and then I had a cat named Pretzel, which of course we know what that food is, and then we had a dog named Oreo. My sister had a cat named Brie, which is a type of cheese. So all of our pets have been named after food. So Raisin Bran, the reason why I named him Raisin Bran is because Raisin Bran was, tan, and he wanted him, he was either going to be called Pancake or Raisin Bran. I just couldn't decide which one I wanted. But Pancake was a little bit more of a mouthful. It was a little harder to say. And Raisin Bran was just like, it flowed a little better. And it's hilarious because Raisin Bran is a funny, funny name. And dogs cannot eat raisins, which is really bad for them. Let's see, what do you know about dogs, colors, and the breed styles? So right now I'm painting this a fawn. That is what Maya is. And so she is going to have more of a tan, kind of khaki kind of color. And I want her to have some dimensions. I don't want it to just be one color. I want it to be some lights and darks. So right now I'm mixing up a variation of light and dark fur for her. And Edgar, people always ask me when I do pet portraits, can you paint pet portraits that are, one solid color? And the answer is yes. And it's based on highlights. And you can see that in Edgar's picture, but it's not all black. I mean, he is a black dog, but he's got highlights from, the angles of his face and how the light is hitting it. So he has dimension to him. And then, of course, with the fawn, they have their light body and then these dark extremities, like their ears and their nose and their snouts. So I want to make him look like that too. Okay, I think I'm ready. So he's over here, and I'm going to paint his head at kind of a tilt. I'm going to add some little highlights in here as I'm doing this so they can blend. I'm going to give him a little highlight on the top of his head. Over here on the side of his head. And again, I want to make him look impressionist too. Like, I don't want him to be too much of a focal in this piece. And the way with pugs, they've got so many little wrinkles in the forehead. It's actually supposed to be, pugs are Chinese, and they're supposed to have, like, if they're like perfect breed standard, they're supposed to have like a little Chinese letter in the shape like of their forehead. So if you actually have that little design, then you could be a little show dog. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to look like. So I'm just gonna kind of wing it here with my paint. But there is a very specific shape that they're supposed to have. Who knew? Now you do. So I'm gonna paint some little wrinkles in the forehead. She doesn't have very many. Her forehead's a little flat. And maybe that's just how she's sitting in this picture. Maybe when she shows a different expression, she'll show more of her little wrinkles. Because they definitely have so many different faces that they make. They're so funny. Let's see. I'm painting his little body. I'm saving the center of his face when I change up my brush to be darker. So right now I'm just doing the fawn color, like the lighter color. I'm going to put some little shading down here on his little belly. And he's kind of leaning, like he's like looking out on his little, he's propped up on his, you know what it is, like in this picture, they're on a chair. And there's like a chair arm that they're like leaning up against. So, I'm trying to imagine what his body position would be with just sitting. His little body out here to the right. And a little highlight on his back. Have these little wrinkles on their forehead here, up on the top of their head too. This would be so cool if I could get this painting to PewDiePie. I would just freak out if he even mentioned my painting. It would be so cool. Let's see. I think I'm gonna paint his little ears in. So they have these like little fold over ears. And they're so sweet. And pugs actually lose their eyes really easily. So the fact that Maya is missing her left, looking at her, the right eye, is actually really common. It's because their little eyeballs are so bulgy. It just puts them in such risk. But anyway, so she's got one eye missing. I'll be sure to make that show up, but it's so sad. It's so sad. You know, both of my pugs, they both had eye injuries, and one of them had them like constantly, like just always just getting into hurt, like running into things, and they're so low to the ground, and if they run into trees or little sticks and stuff, it's just really easy to happen. Oh my gosh, she's coming alive! Look at her! Comes her little face. Aww. Hi Maya. Welcome to the wedding that you were not invited to, but now you're there. Give her her little wrinkles in her brows because she's got curious in her look, in her face. And then this little eye is closed, so I'm just going to kind of make it I don't want to exaggerate it too much because it's probably a sad thing that she lost her eye. I don't want it to be scary looking, but let's see. Underneath there, I'll make it extra dark because it's folded. I think I'm going to keep them that simple. Like it's just like how I don't want the guests to be too much detail. Like I don't want the dogs to be that too much detail either. So I'm just going to keep them pretty basic. Now my pet portraits, if you'd like to go check them out, heatherwolfart.com. I put a ton of detail in these portraits. So this is not how I usually paint my dogs. They have like very realistic expressions and lots of detail. So this is hard to just paint it super simple like that. I'm like, well, I want to paint more. Give a little bit more of a wrinkle in the forehead. Maybe a little bit of a fold in the chin because they got these like folds underneath their neck. Show some of the weight of his body, her body. Give her some little highlight. I think I'll give her a little bit more detail on the ear. Okay, now it is Mr. Edgar's turn. So Edgar is, like I said, he's solid black, but in the picture, he's got some highlights. So I can push those highlights by just adding gray to my brush, so it's not all just black and that's it. Can give him some dimension, so he looks more realistic in 3D. I accidentally painted this guy's leg over Edgar's drawing, so I have to paint that back. So I always grew up being a cat person. I thought that I just didn't have a good experience with dogs when I was a kid. I don't know. I just didn't think I was a dog person at all. And then I got pugs. I was like, I am 100% a dog person. I did not know it. But man, I love pugs. They're so sweet. We had cats growing up. That was mostly what we had. So it was a little bit of a surprise to me when I fell in love with pugs. The first time I saw a pug, I didn't even know anything about the breed. And my question was, is this the mean kind of dog? Like, I thought it was an aggressive one, but it shows how little I knew about pugs, because they are the least aggressive. They're so sweet. They're great with kids. They're great with strangers. They're great with other dogs. They're very passive, and they'll let every other dog be the dominant. They're just so sweet. His body's coming off to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. So I want him to look like he's leaning over to the left, over in front. Like they're kind of crisscrossing. I'm making them look like they're laying next to each other. And I'm going to paint the eyes dark right now, but then I'll come back in with some highlight once that kind of dries. Let's see, I'll do a little bit of some highlights underneath the body, underneath this little chin, so this little chin shows up. And I'm wrapping this around the edge just so that I am making it look like it's framed on the side with paint. Oh my gosh, I'm noticing how like bulged out. It's so funny. Pugs' eyes really bulge really hard, and like they might not be bug-eyed, but they can like they get a little drifter. So Edgar's right eye is drifting off. Well, his left eye is like drifting off to the side here. I don't know if I'll paint it that way, because I usually ask my clients if they want me to like kind of fix it up so they don't look cross-eyed or lazy-eyed. So I'll fix that. So they don't look crazy. I'm doing on time. Okay. I'm doing good. Well, we are really wrapping this up. I mean, I'm going to do a few things of like some really small details off camera, just like the things that are just so hard to see from the view of the camera that y'all, it wouldn't look like I'm actually painting because it's such small little movements that I'm making. But this is coming to the finishing. I think I will sign. Let me give little Edgar a little highlight in his eye. And highlights would actually be in the same place. So if it's on the right side of the eye, it'll be on the right side of the eye on both eyes. That's what I'm trying to say. And the same thing with any highlights like on the body, like all highlights they work together. So if there's highlights on the right of the body, then they'll always stay on the right side. Okay. Got a question here. Okay, I'll do that. And I think I will sign it while I'm on with you guys. And I always like to sign with puffy paint. It is an easy way, for me at least, to paint. I'm not sure what color I want to do. You know, I usually paint my signature in the bottom right corner, and that's just, I think, just habit. Not that there is no right or wrong way to sign your name in a painting. It is all just like personal preference. But I usually sign it on the bottom right. But since the pugs are over there and I don't want to paint on top of them, there's really not a good negative space. So I think I'm going to do it over here near the potatoes. And this is puffy paint. This is what I mean, like fabric paint. This is actually a gold. And for some reason, I really like using gold when I paint my name. Because it's metallic and it shows up really well. So that is one reason I like to do it. So here we go. I'm going to bring it in here and sign my name. And it's like using a pen, so it's super easy to write with. If I was trying to do it with a brush, that's a whole lot harder. I will go in and I'll do some touch-ups and stuff, but let's go through the painting and view it now that it is finished. But here we go. So this is the finished painting of PewDiePie's portrait. And this is based off of his photo that he posted on his account. And that is the full photo there. You can see. And then I have zoomed in. There's a couple of little fun details. Remember, he is a YouTuber. He has 100 million subscribers. He just broke that that milestone this last week. And I put in a little secret hiding thing in here. This is the potatoes. There's 12 potatoes here for prosperity for the new couple. And then I've put in their guests in the background. I made them a little bit more blurry and more impressionistic so that they're not the focal point. I wanted the bride and groom to be the center of attention here. And then we've got their pugs, Maya and Edgar, down here in the bottom right. They were not allowed to come to the venue, so they were not at the wedding, and I thought they needed to be superimposed down at the bottom. And then, of course, you have your bride and groom here in the middle, and I wanted their facial features to be super detailed, super accurate. And here, I'll do a little zoom in here so you guys can see. There's PewDiePie. His name is really Felix. And his bride. And this lace, I love this lace. It's like textured and see-through, so you can see her skin coming through. And then her bouquet was beautiful. Man, her ring, guys, y'all should go check out her ring. It's in one of her stories. But here it is. Tell me your thoughts. I would love to know if you enjoyed this. All right, guys.
I have to say something. You did a great job.
Oh, my husband's on now.
I'm not saying anything. Just eat the potatoes.
Eat the potatoes, PewDiePie. Well, you don't have enough. You only get a half a baby.
These are for you.
Oh, they're for me? Oh, that's funny. Yes, potatoes. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. See you soon.